Hey, before I start the episode, a shout out to this season's sponsor, Nico Coastal Homes. If you're thinking about buying or selling on the coast, do yourself a favor. Have one conversation with Nico. You'll immediately see why she's one of the top realtors on the coast. She's resourceful, detail-oriented, and completely unfiltered, and all Nico wants to do is show you the best that the coast has to offer. From homes to places to see to things to do, Nico's got you covered. Find her at nicolearnett.ca or grab a link in the show notes to this episode. Okay, let's get started. So you brought a piece of meat out so we could chat while you're cutting. What are you cutting here? What is this?
Okay, so this is like a piece of round meat from the hind. This was something that I learned on because at the end of the day, if it's minced meat, it's all good. And it does help control some knife skills when you're learning to be a butcher.
It's training meat.
Definitely, yeah. Training meat, you can't mess it up. And if you do, it just goes in for ground beef, so.
Adam Vanderwoerd and me were having a chat in the middle of the Gibsons Butcher. Between us, there's this huge honking chunk of beef just waiting to be sliced out. How sharp is that knife?
It could be sharper, could it? Sometimes someone grabs my knife and they're like, oh, whose knife is this? And I'm embarrassed, it's mine. But yeah, we like to keep them sharp.
You know, if there ever was a time to excuse a butcher for not having the sharpest blade, now might be that time. Because for the past year, Adam, well, his life has gotten increasingly busier. Some of you probably know this, but the Gibsons Butcher is expanding. They're days away from opening the doors on a new shop, not in Gibsons, but in Sechelt. And that one's called, well, what else? The Sechelt Butcher.
We're almost there, right? You're almost open. And it's going to be really exciting and a little nerve-wracking.
I'm not that nervous because I think everybody knows Shannon's my rock. She's going to make everything happen. If I can't do it, she can.
Adam is, of course, talking about Shannon Vanderwoerd, his wife. She might be his rock to him, but also, unlike his knife, she's a razor-sharp business partner. Except for one small thing.
I never thought I would own a butcher shop. No.
Let alone two?
Let alone two. No. I think the timing was just right for us. Dave the Butcher was a staple in Sechelt, and so we just didn't feel the need to come in and
Step on his turf?
We did not want to step on his turf.
But then Dave the Butcher retired. Sechelt wasn't his turf anymore. And that got Shannon and Adam thinking and plotting and dreaming about what that could mean for them. Which is a little bit funny considering that Shannon never really imagined having a career in the meat department. For many reasons you'll soon hear, that idea didn't make much sense to her back in the day. But then the community, the coastal community, showed both her and Adam how running a local meat shop could be the most organic business decision they'd ever make together. And now, with the Sechelt Butcher about to open, they're doubling down. That comes with a lot of financial risk and business worries, but they're betting that the community will once again eat up anything they're going to serve. But is that true? I'm Dominic Girard. Welcome back to Secret Sunshine, the podcast about the folks who make the most of living on the Sunshine Coast. This episode, new butchers on the block. Now, just before you bite into this episode, remember, this season, you can listen or watch the podcast however you'd like. I'm making video editions of this podcast as much as I possibly can, and you can watch those on YouTube, you can watch them on Spotify, or you can continue to listen on whatever podcast platform you prefer. If you have a second, maybe give the show a like, or a review, or a rating, or a follow, or smash that subscribe button on the YouTubes, like the kids say you should. Oh my God, I just dated myself. Okay, enough about that, enough about me. Let's get into Shannon and Adam's adventure story. A story that starts just as another butcher's meaty adventure comes to an end.
So Dave approached us late last year saying he was retiring and asked if we wanted to buy his business. And we were absolutely not. We love our life. We're in a really great spot. Why would we do that to ourselves?
You weren't ever even thinking
We
of
were
expanding.
never thinking of expanding.
Things were good.
Things were good.
But when Dave plants a seed in your head,
Yeah.
and you're like, we're in a good place, we're fine. Is it the kind of thing where the seed just started itching at the back of your brain? Or
100%. Yeah.
So talk about that.
Well, Adam and I spent a lot of nights talking about the pros and cons, and I get really emotional talking about our community because we would not be here without them.
Mhm.
And we have such a great customer base in Gibsons
Yeah.
that come from here who have been begging for us to come out this way for years. And so I think that's what motivated us to do this. And we were like, we're empty nesters. What else we got going on? Let's just do it. We went and looked and we hummed and hawed, and we decided it wasn't the right location.
Mhm.
And we reached out to Sanco and said, can we come? And
This mall area.
this mall, we're in the Sanco Village. And we had to jump a couple little hurdles because, of course, the Independent there is a franchise
Yep.
chain. And they were very welcoming and wanted us here and thought we would be a good neighbor. We can each draw customers and support each other's businesses. And here we are.
Wow.
Yeah.
Was it an exercise with you and Adam of convincing each other to not do it or convincing each other to do it? Do you know what I mean?
I think it was, if I had to pick, it would be convincing each other to do it. Having the store in Gibsons, we
Yeah.
just thought, maybe it's arrogant of us. We're just like, we can totally do this. This is going to be a successful business. And so it was not scary to do the business. The scary part was how much the business costs us to do.
Right.
Like, do we want to take out another mortgage against our house to do this? And how fast is that going to pay back? So the finances was the scary part for us.
The thing about expanding a business is that it makes more of everything, right? More is more. More revenue, hopefully, but also more inventory, more overhead, more staff, more training. So it's one thing to say you're opening a second store, but then you have a lot more to manage. And with that comes a little anxiety around wondering how you hold on to what makes your business so special, even as you double it in size.
What's making you the most excited and what's making you the most nervous about opening and running a second location?
Leaving the family that I had here. We create a family environment and we really enjoy the time we have together here because we spend honestly more time with our coworkers than we do with our family in most instances. So creating a new team up in Sechelt, I know the butchery is going to come natural. I know the customers are going to come, but it's just creating a dynamic and a really happy environment.
Investing the time.
We're going to bounce back and forth between the guests throughout this episode. Let's get back to Shannon.
Okay, so with this butcher location in Sechelt, you're expanding from one store to two.
Mhm.
But maybe people don't know that the idea of expanding a franchise is something that you have very little experience with. So before having a butcher shop, talk about what you were doing with Starbucks.
So I was a district manager for Starbucks. I actually was the store manager that opened the Gibsons location and the Sechelt location. I had multiple stores in my territories, and my territories would always change. My job was to open Starbucks stores, work with the store manager to understand how the store could be more successful, more profitable, whether that be based on the level of customer service, the profitability, their ability to manage their inventory. So when Adam, who had been at a local grocery store, I think he was 24 years, he just wasn't happy anymore. And
He was your fella at that.
he was my fella. He's
Yeah.
been my fella for 30 years.
Yeah.
And he was not confident in the quality of meat that he was bringing home to our children. That was kind of our click, like, let's open our own butcher shop. I had no intention to ever work in it. I was working my way up in the Starbucks Coffee Canada and going on to bigger and better roles.
So for you, it would be a side hustle
For me, it was, I'm just going to take 3 months off work. I'll take a little break.
and do the thing
Open
that I
the
know
store.
how to do.
Yeah, open the store. And then you'll just be one of my other store managers. I'll tell you what to do and how to be more profitable. So we opened in October, and my full intention was to go back to work at the end of November. But it was just gangbuster from the start. And It was very clear that we both needed to be in that location. We just did not expect to be as busy and successful so early.
Was it like, let's have this cute little butcher shop thing?
Yeah.
There's nothing cute about
We had done business plans and we had projected sales, and we were blowing those out of the water, and we couldn't staff quick enough to keep up with the volume. We opened in October, and in January of 2017, we won Best New Business in all of the province against 600 other businesses. And so it just started
how did
to
that
snowball.
feel?
Oh, so emotional. It's really difficult for me to talk about. It does. I get all verklempt again.
What do you think was going on there? Why do you think you blew up?
I think we do a couple of things really well. I think customers care more than they have ever before about the quality of product that they're putting into their families' bodies. And everything that we sell is ethically raised and ethically sourced. Our whole philosophy is no hormones, no antibiotics. Hormones are against the law in Canada. That's a whole other podcast. But we don't want our meat to have antibiotics. There are all sorts of processing in the meat industry, and we stay away from that. And we work really close with the farmers. I think that the market and the community was ready for that option. I think what Starbucks taught me so well was how to develop and train customer service. When I'm in the community, people find out that I'm the owner of the butcher. The first thing they say to me is not, you have the best meat. They say, you have the best staff. And Adam has a following. People trust him, and everyone loves him. And so I think those three things, the quality, the customer service, and then just Adam's following.
The roots.
The roots,
basically.
yeah.
Those roots, Adam's following, they're deep. This goes back decades.
How old were you when you first started to learn how to butcher?
I started in high school, grade 10. I started at the grocery level produce. And I think it was great because it helped me understand the customer interaction. And I've always considered myself a bit of an artist. And I think produce is more, not so much a skill, it's an art. Like, people buy with their eyes. So it helped me become an artist with displays. And then, I was looking for something to get more of a passion into. And I approached the owner of the store, and he said, there's actually a position opening up in the meat department. So I apprenticed with two old guys, Ralph and Don, and they just taught me the skills I needed. And I took what I had learned in the produce with our display, and it just kind of married into what we are today.
Yeah.
I'm just so glad that I made the transition from that and found a passion in it.
You were a vegetarian.
I was a vegetarian when I met Adam. I didn't eat meat, and we were at a staff party of his at the store that he used to work at, and he was like, here, taste this. And I was like, that is delicious. What is that? And he was like, it's roast beef. And I was like, oh, I don't eat meat, Adam, but it was so delicious that I started eating meat.
It just broke you in an instant.
Broke me in an instant. We were dating. He knew that I didn't eat meat, but
I'm wondering, when you fed her that piece of roast beef, were you just very excited to show it to her, or were you just trying to pull her into the world?
I think, it was more of a test, I would say. If we're going to be together, I'm not going to date a vegetarian.
when we met, he wasn't a butcher. He ran the produce department.
Which, for a vegetarian,
It was great. Yeah, I didn't think of that.
Yeah.
It is funny, though, owning a butcher shop. I'm a very picky meat eater.
So you know what to recommend.
Oh, I can recommend. We've had a lot of vegetarians come because their doctors are like, you need more iron, you need...
Right.
And so I can help you if you're ready to reintroduce meat.
Because, girl, I've been there.
I've been there. Yeah. It's every teenage girl's rite of passage to be a vegetarian, right?
You think?
Both of my kids tried it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It didn't take.
Didn't take.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, dad's cutting meat.
Yeah.
It's got to be a little hard to resist.
Yes.
You've said your mission is to provide healthy meats.
Yeah.
Right. How hard is it to maintain that sort of caliber?
When COVID happened, because we deal directly with the farms,
Yeah.
we have a standing relationship. And so when COVID happened, and there were shortages everywhere because the processing plants where we're not buying our meat from were shutting down.
Right.
And all of a sudden they were going to these small farms, we need your product. And it was like, we're going to keep doing what we do. And so other places were running out of chicken, and we're like, we got chicken. I think one of our chicken is, I'm really proud of our chicken. So we work with a farm called Farm Fed. And, Monday at 9 in the morning, we order our chicken and it is slaughtered that afternoon and is in our store Tuesday morning. That's some fresh chicken. And
Yeah, just give me context for the industry. How unusual is that?
typically, if you were to go to a big box, chain, they would order all their chicken. It would go to their warehouse. It would sit in their warehouse. And then the grocery stores are ordering from that warehouse. So by the time it hits a grocery store, it's already a few days old.
Right.
I just think that it's so cool that we're able to call a farm in the morning on Monday. And by Tuesday morning, I've got fresh chicken.
Yeah. Yeah. No
And
kidding.
that's, I think, kind of what we're about. And it's not hard because we built these relationships with these farms. And so they're committed to us because we've supported them.
Yeah. Yeah. I wonder if you could go back to when you opened the first shop on October 3rd, 9 years ago. What do you remember about the energy around that opening?
Oh,
Let's start there. Yeah.
I remember getting a text. So Adam's cousin, Rob, is the fire chief. And we were at capacity.
We'll come back to find out what happened on opening day of the Gibsons Butcher in just a sec. But first, thanks to Nico Coastal Homes for sponsoring this season of Secret Sunshine. Nico, do you remember the first time you visited the Gibsons Butcher?
Yes, immediately after moving to the coast, like day 1 or 2. It was Thanksgiving weekend. You have to go there. It's like the place to be.
It's the place to be. Nico, it turns out, not only loves visiting the Gibsons Butcher, but has a very literal connection to what it's like to run a meat shop.
I ask you because I know that prior to moving to the coast, you ran your own butcher in Vancouver.
Yes, ran Save On Meats with the big pig on the street. And it is no joke. That is one of the hardest businesses, at least from my amateur experience. It is a crazy intense business to run. Yeah.
Let alone running 2 of them, which is what Shannon and Adam were about to do.
Yeah, I mean, those 2 are superheroes. There's no accounting for their their strength and ability.
What are the transferable skills from running a butcher in Vancouver to selling homes on the Sunshine Coast? Is there a connection there?
Nerves of steel, problem solving, number 1. Like you're always thinking, oh, Frankie.
Frankie is grounded.
Okay. I mean, anything customer service facing, you are always on your feet, thinking on your feet. And you have a variety of personalities.
Yeah. Just like your dogs who may or may not be in the background of this tape.
I hope they are. That'd be so great. It's so real.
That's Nicole Arnett with Nico Coastal Homes. Find her at nicolearnett.ca or grab a link in the show notes to this episode. Now, a moment ago, Shannon was just sharing how opening day for the Gibsons Butcher back in 2016 was a bit of a gong show. So let's pick it right back up from there. And we'll learn how success came from relying on each other, relying on the community, relying on a little bit of bubbly, and a whole bunch of serendipity.
There was a line around the building.
This is opening day.
And it was just the community, I think we're curious about what we had. It had been a long time since there had been a butcher shop in Gibsons. Oh, I remember having 2 teenage daughters, busted out and went to a party, and I couldn't do anything about it because my shop was so busy. And we worked like that day, I want to say 5 a.m. till close to 8 p.m. Just set up. And then, holy cow, we got cleared out today. We're going to have to stay late to get ready for tomorrow to redo.
Didn't have enough product.
Did not have enough product. I remember just because I'm really proud of our design at the store. I do think, when people come in, it's not what people picture a butcher shop to look like. It has like a little artisan, I call it a bougie butcher shop.
Bougie Butcher?
Bougie Butcher. And just watching people's face and the expression and just how happy they were and interested in the design and the compliments and how beautiful our store was and how our meat case, it's, that's our Rolls Royce. It has to look beautiful and clean and presentable, and just how happy the community was for us. We were like, this was the right thing to do. When we opened the Gibsons Butcher, though, it was so serendipitous. It was the universe. I believe in the universe, and it was just giving us every roadblock. It would just like, la, here you go. I remember I said to Adam, I want this whole wall to be distressed wood. And so we were like, hey, let's find some Oh, well, it's going to be like $50,000 for that much wood. And I said to Adam, well, why don't we just drive around town? We've got to know somebody that has a crappy old fence. We'll offer to buy them a new fence. So that's going to be like, what, $5,000 to $8,000. And then we'll just take that old fence and we'll put it up. And he was like, okay. And then we go by the fire hall, and Adam was a firefighter, a volunteer firefighter for many years. And he said to his cousin, Rob, oh, that fence there, I see that they're pulling it. And he's like, oh yeah, we've got a new fence coming next week. So that's garbage. And Adam's like, can we have it? They're like, yup. So it's cool. It just landed for free for us. And it's that whole wall is made from the fire department's fence. I think like that was the universe just saying, we want you to have this.
That's really great.
And that just happened the whole time through the opening of that store.
So contrast that to opening this one and where you're going.
The universe has not provided. No, the people, look, everyone has been so great. Sandco, our landlord, they've been really supportive in the delays and taking care of us. It's just the bureaucracy of, well, the electrical engineer needs to sign off on this, and then the mechanical does, and then the architect does. And, oh, you're changing where the coat hook goes. Okay, well, that's got to get signed off. Oh, that floor drain that we said you had to get, I know it's out of stock, so you got a new one. Well, that has to get approved. So everything has to go through multiple hands to get approved.
So how does opening a Starbucks store compare to opening this second location of the Butcher?
In my career, this is the hardest store I've ever opened. Yeah, this is probably in construction. This has been the hardest that I've had.
How you keep your cool around that?
Well, I go home and I cry.
Do you?
Adam and I have a good Prosecco collection that we've dipped into.
So Prosecco is a necessary construction ingredient.
100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shannon told me that you guys have a healthy Prosecco collection, relieving the stress during construction.
Well, that's pretty accurate. I think, I don't know, it's weekly boxes at the front door that I'm seeing. And it's a nice thing to share with Shannon, in the evenings when we can relax a little bit.
What has Shannon brought to your approach to butchering? And what have you brought to her approach to running a business that makes you the team that you are?
I think, honestly, it comes down to just hearing each other. Because sometimes I don't hear her because I'm stuck in my ways of doing things. Sometimes I'll challenge her and I'm feeling I'm not being heard. And then sometimes she'll challenge me and she doesn't feel like she's being heard. Oh, I have way too much meat in the building. Like you have to control our inventory where I'll say, well, you have too much inventory up front. You have to control your inventory. So we both see it in different ways, but when we actually can sit down and like find the finish line together, I think that's what the most key thing is. Don't get me wrong, we do have our struggles going through this, but at the end of the day, we go home happy.
What I'm hearing is it's not easy. It's not ever easy. You make it look easy. Like people walk in here, everyone's happy. You're having conversations with the staff. It's fun to shop in here. In the background, though, it doesn't mean things aren't still complicated to run a business.
No, because the book's still laying on the desk. And we look at the numbers and we're like, oh my God. When I went into this, we're doing fair market price for good quality. And I think that brings a whole demographic in here that just want to enjoy their meal. And when you go into, I'm not putting down the grocery store, I worked there for 20 years and it was just sucking the life out of me because we were chasing a flyer and we were chasing these profits that we had to meet. Here, if I don't make profits for a month, I'm fine. Like we're still paying the bills and I don't have anyone to answer to really other than my customers are happy.
And so Prosecco aside,
what
keeps you plugged in?
Well, the fear of failure, to be honest. Yeah. We're so financially in that there's no turning back. Somebody asked me, would you have done this? I don't know that we would have done this if I knew how much it was going to cost and the roadblocks. Yeah. And we know how successful and rewarding this will be when it's finished. I am so excited to show the community the thought behind the design of the store. Some people may know or may not know, Adam is from the Katzie First Nation, so he is Indigenous, and so are our kids. And we are on the Indigenous lands of Sechelt First Nation.
Yeah.
And so we are going to honor that in our design.
Can you hint at it? What does that mean?
So what's beautiful is our youngest daughter. She just graduated from SFU with her degree in Indigenous Studies, and she is going to run this store for us.
Oh, wow.
She has also got, she is an artist. So she did some beautiful native art murals that will be in the store that are butcher themed.
So stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Earlier, you said you've always considered yourself a bit of an artist.
Yes.
Do you think there's an artistry to cutting meat, or is it not that?
I think for the finished product. And I said earlier, like, people buy with their eyes. So we do source sustainable and high quality meats, but also at the end of the day, stew looks like stew.
Right.
But trying to make it an art and different styles of cuts and giving like my staff, like, it can get mundane and very repetitive. So I love to give my staff a lot of freelancing to keep the passion going, to be artistic, to create a new display, cut it in a different way that's more appealing. Like, I think even the decor, the environment you come into, it's very relaxing. Place that you can just kind of, say hi to your neighbor and talk with your butcher about what you want to do tonight, So it's not like grab a buggy and let's get out of here and ram through the people that are in your way. Yeah.
We joke about being like the Cheers. There's nothing more than I love on a Friday at 4:00 walking into my store and it's busy and you're like, all staff, get out here. We all have to help. But there's no one to help because there's just little pockets of people who haven't seen each other in a long time and they're catching up. And so it's just so beautiful to stand behind that counter and look and just see our community connecting. And people joke all the time, like, you guys should serve wine. We would do happy hour here.
When's the liquor license?
Yeah, that'd be nice, right? That is what makes it so cool. This community is just so fantastic. I couldn't imagine doing this in any other community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you imagine opening day is going to look like here?
I think it's going to be a lineup out the door. We're going to hope to have some sort of spiritual blessing. We're going to reach out to the Sechelt Nation and hope that they'll be on site. I think there's going to be a vibe in here. I think people are going to want to check it out. I think it's going to be awesome. Like, I know that it will be amazing. And when we look back, we'll laugh about how hard this process was.
Mm. Given that you've grown up here, what does little Shannon think about these spaces?
I think they're cool. I think there's been this shift in the demographic of people who are relocating and starting their lives here. I think we're at a really exciting time. All of these new cool businesses are constantly opening over the last, let's say, 5 years, 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's going to be plenty more. And so little Shannon is proud that we're part of that.
So you're opening a second location imminently. What are your hopes and dreams for your business 10 years from now?
Shannon and I are owner-operators. At one day, I would just like to be an owner and just check in with my staff and make sure that things are going the way that they should be going, and just being part of the community. I think I don't want this ever to leave the community, leave the coast. I think it'll keep going for a long time, and we just appreciate our customers to keep supporting us.
Years from now, when you look back at what you've accomplished here, what do you hope people will say about your contribution to this community or to these communities now?
I hope that they, again, you see, I hope that they say that we contributed to their community, to their dinners, to their kids' sports teams, to their family soccer. I just hope that people talk about the good we do to the people we can help.
Why does that make you feel so good?
Because I'm a Pisces. I don't know.
It just sounds to me that that's where the value is for you.
It's totally where the value is for me.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know. I don't know. I grew up in this community.
Mm-hmm.
I played sports in this community. My kids grew up in this community. I'm proud to, when I see kids playing soccer or baseball with our jerseys, we're providing great food, but we're able to take some of our profit and give that back the way people did to me when I was growing up here, the way they did that to our kids that were growing up here.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I haven't really put thought behind it. It's just a feeling.
That community theme obviously underpins the entire purpose of Secret Sunshine, but I've never heard it more clearly and emotionally evoked than through my conversation with Shannon and Adam. I'm sure you felt it. Community is everything to these two. Community keeps them here on the coast. It's baked into the design of the stores and the way that the staff interacts with the people who come to shop. And perhaps most importantly, community is what convinced Shannon that this was the job she was meant for, and not the one in the corporate coffee world. It's also pretty obvious that they don't take that appreciation for granted. They invest heavily in local sports, and they do what they can to help small farmers thrive. Not bad for a shop, and now two shops, run by a meat-loving husband and his formerly vegetarian wife.
What's the most beautiful piece of meat you've ever seen?
Oh, it's going to be short ribs all day, every day.
Really?
I love short ribs. Like that's my death wish dinner.
Your death wish?
Yeah, but what are they? Not my death wish dinner. My final dinner,
Your death row? Your
yeah,
death row dinner?
dinner. That's what I was thinking. It's my death row dinner.
Who have you murdered to earn this dinner?
We joke that, our it'd be good to us because our grinder fits a human body.
That's community right there.
Yeah, that's community. We got you. We got you.
We got you anyway.
Yeah.
Opening day for the Sechelt Butcher is Friday, October 10th. You'll find them in the Sechelt Mall on Sechelt First Nations territory. They'll probably be pretty exhausted, but I bet they'll be full of excitement to see you if you happen to stop by. And at the end of the day, I bet there will probably be a bottle of Prosecco waiting for them. Secret Sunshine is produced by me, Dominic Girard. The original theme is composed and performed by Max Henry. This season's sponsor, Nico Coastal Homes. Find her at nicolearnett.ca. Learn more about Secret Sunshine and find links to all of the episodes, including video editions of this season, at secretsunshine.ca. Thanks for listening and watching. I'll roller my way back over here in 3 weeks with a fresh coat of Secret Sunshine. Wait, was that a clue about the next guest? Okay, bye.